Hi guys, so today I'm just going to be sharing a story about something that recently happened last week where I accidentally slipped into a parallel reality. So, um, leading up to this incident, I was doing like my deep breathing exercises that I normally do in the morning. However, this was my first time doing them like immediately after waking up. So I woke up at 4 a.m. and um I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna just lay here and do my deep breathing because I felt well rested when I first woke up. I was ready for the day. I was awake. So I did my 3 rounds of deep breathing. But what I noticed during that time was during my second and third round, I began to like forget what number I was on as far as like when I would hold my breath. And um and also I had trouble remembering like if I was on the inhale or the exhale, because basically after each round, on the exhale you hold your breath and then you breathe back in and then you hold your breath again and then you do the next round. So during that time, only on the second and third round, I found myself forgetting like what number I was on for the seconds and things like that. So I guess you could say at that point I was slipping. But afterwards, after I completed my third round, like I felt fine. Like my body just felt really relaxed, like it always does when I'm done with it. And I do normally just lay there and allow myself to rest for between 10 and 30 minutes before I actually get up and do whatever else I need to do. So um after I was done with the deep breathing, I turned on my side and I was like, I'm just gonna lay here for like 10 or 15 minutes before I actually get out the bed. And during that time, I ended up slipping into a parallel reality. So I woke up in this place, um, and it was like when I woke up, like I felt like I was kind of like slipping off of my bed. But then there was this entity, or this, I'll say this being, who I thought was my son, because he was in my room, like he was hanging on the side of my bed, and that's why I felt like I was slipping. I never actually physically saw him with my eyes though, but I sensed that he was there and I heard him, and he was like, "Can I lay in your bed with you?" And I was like, "Sure." So I don't know what happened with this being after that moment, but when I woke up, like as I became aware, I realized that I was supposed to wake up at 6 a.m. to get my kids because their dad had to go to work. And this is not like this was happening in the parallel reality, but I was literally still supposed to be ready and available at 6 a.m. to get my kids in my real reality, right? So I got up frantically and I'm like, oh my goodness, what time it is? I mean, what time is it? Because through the window it looked like it was like light out. So um I went down the hallway and into the kitchen, and like the kitchen looked different, but I didn't think anything of it at that time because I was just so worried about finding out like what time it was. So I went in the kitchen, I looked at the time on the microwave and the stove, and it said 12 o'clock. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like the time is wrong. Like I need to know what time it is. So I ended up I went in my living room. And when I looked out the sliding doors in my living room, it was like dark outside. So it was light outside when I looked out the window of my room, but in the living room, it was dark outside. So at that point, I'm still like frantically like, oh my goodness, like I need to figure out what time it is. So I go back in my bedroom. Now in the bedroom, that looked similar as well. Um, but the difference was that there was a TV in my bedroom, in which I don't have in my real reality because I don't watch TV. And the news was on, and I don't watch the news at all. I haven't watched the news in over 10 years. So, but I didn't think anything of it then. I'm just trying to figure out what time it is. So I looked at the time on the TV and it said 6:30. And then at that point, like I just started, like I paused and I'm like looking around and I'm like, oh no, this is not my reality. Um, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I have to get back to my reality. Now, during this dream state that I was in, like I was in complete control of myself, my thoughts, and everything during this time. Normally, when I'm dreaming, it's playing out to me like a movie. In this thing that I was in, like I was literally in control of my every move and my every thought and everything like that. So, I was just like, oh no, like this is not my reality. Like I have to get back to my reality because I got to get my kids. So, during that time, like once I realized I was in the wrong reality, like I just started like saying things to myself, I guess you could say telepathically, that connected me to my original reality. So I'm like saying my name, like my name is, I was saying my name, my date of birth, my parents' names, and then eventually I just immediately like popped back into this reality, and I woke up and it was 5:30. But the strange part about it was like everything was so like vivid, and I remembered every single detail, and I was just trying to like I knew what had happened, but I was trying to gain an understanding of what this thing was that actually happened. Like I have no idea if it was like astral traveling. I have no idea if it may have been um simply slipping into a parallel reality, or if I was lucid dreaming. I don't know. So if any of you have more knowledge than I do on this thing, let me know exactly what happened to me, because that was very interesting. And I never had that happen before. But that is the end of my story. Thank you so much for watching and have a beautiful day.